Hello everyone and welcome to my September backyard garden tour. It's truly amazing how much the garden changes from month to month and even week to week. Sometimes even every day, whenever I come out into my garden each day, I always discover something new. So I'm going to walk you around my backyard garden and just show you what's going on in the beginning of September. Would you believe it? But my Zuni crepe myrtle tree is blooming again. I cannot believe it. This usually puts on a show once a year, but I've been blessed with new, beautiful purple blooms. God truly blessed me this year with so much of His beautiful creation. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do I keep my garden so lush in this heat wave? Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. I have experienced many casualties. Let me show you this. Yeah, my beautiful vinca and petunias, I cut them all back. They just got so tired looking. So I have lost a few things as well, and I will point those out to you throughout the tour of this backyard. So don't feel bad, don't take it personal. It happens to me, that's for sure. I just don't always point out the negative. But thank you for the compliments, I appreciate that. In order to keep my garden looking lush, I will tell you, I've been a slave to my garden. I water it every single day, and remind you, I don't have drip irrigation, so I do it all by hand. I'm not complaining, I actually love it. It's like my therapy. But I've been a slave to my garden this summer. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look at my canna lily. I bought this at a plant sale and it was only about maybe a foot tall, and it just loves this spot. My pink jasmine is starting to come back. Remember, I pruned it all the way back to the ground? I would say vinca has been a really #1 performer for me, but now as the weather's starting to change, I have been planting more marigolds. And remember, I used to have a plumbago in that tire. Well, the plumbago just got too big, and I felt like it was a racehorse. I was holding it back from reaching its potential, so I ripped it out. You know, that's the beauty of things. If things don't always go as planned, I just say get rid of it. Why stress over something? Just out of sight, out of mind, start over. And when something dies or something doesn't go as planned, that just gives you the opportunity to create something new. So I kind of like the texture of that. It's a cordyline, and I just like the texture of it, the simplicity of it, and it fits in those tires, unlike the plumbago that got huge. The cordyline will get tall, but that's not going to happen for many, many years. And when the time comes, then I'll worry about it then. Look at my beautiful sweet potato vine. That thing's just getting massive. And I did prune back all of these petunias as well. I think in the late summer, that's a really good time to cut those back and just kind of give them a fresh new start. But the creeping Jenny is nice and thick and lush. Look at that, I just love the creeping Jenny. And down here in the lower pots, I started some Angelina. This is my first time growing Angelina. I just know that it likes a lot of water, and I figured when I water the overhead pots, it drips down to the Angelina. So we'll see how that does. I have a geranium in a cute little decorative pot, a foxtail fern, a bottle tree, some impatiens, hostas, and my sedum autumn joy. It's starting to change color. Look at the beautiful texture of these. They are going to bloom to like a pinkish rustish color, and then after they're done blooming, I don't deadhead them because they add a lot of fall and winter interest. But over here in my little veggie box, I'm growing some spinach. And in case you're wondering why those tomato cages are on their sides, well, let's just say I have 3 cats of my own, and the neighborhood cats like to visit my garden, and you know what they do with that veggie box. So I just try to discourage them from using it as their litter box. And look at my beautiful Canterbury bells. I just cannot believe how well these performed for me. Every day I just continue to come out and deadhead them. I'm definitely going to grow these again next year, that's for sure, in more places in my garden than just right here. So yeah, as you can see, I've been planting a lot of marigolds. I've transitioned from the vinca to marigolds. So instead of my garden looking all pink and purple, you're going to notice that it's starting to look lots of yellows and oranges. Oh my goodness, in this vintage bathtub, there's so much going on. We have 2 different colored verbenas. Now I only planted all this stuff Empress Fair, lavender blue. I only planted all these things in here just to fill up the space while my beautiful lantana grows and gets bigger. I bought this from Proven Winners. It's a luscious citrus blend, but it was just a baby and it was very lonely and they're all by itself. So I did plant a lot of things just to fill up this spot. And look at it all taking off. And there's another verbena in here. I have to keep these tags. I have such a bad memory, I would totally forget. And this is another Empress Flare lavender blue. But those are just so beautiful. And a Proven Winners Super Petunia Vista Bubblegum, although I will admit I love the wave petunias better in my garden. Some more marigolds. And this is one of those not native butterfly bushes. Not butterfly bushes, milkweed. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, now here's something that I changed from the heat wave. That's a yucca. I used to have petunias in there, but they just were not happy with the heat wave. So I said, screw that, out you go. And I planted the yucca. It's clean, it's colorful, and I know we're gonna have more heat waves next year, so I'm not gonna fight it any longer. And I even took my strawberries out and put some of these, oh, you guys recommended these to me. I wanna say Desert Rose. I know that's probably not the name, but they make these beautiful colors, and I put them in my succulent garden, and I'm going to show you in just a second. But over here, I have a marigold and my beautiful Elizabeth bougainvillea. Look at the beautiful bracts on this. I just love the way the purple bracts contrast against the orange marigold. And behind this is a scarlet runner bean. I'm hoping that it will grow up the trellis and maybe even attach itself to that heart archway. And over here, I'm starting some seeds. We have some broccoli because I like the cooler weather, and in here I have beets. I love beets. I peel them and put them in my smoothies and fruit juices all the time, so I figured this year I'm going to grow my own. So once the broccoli gets a little bit bigger, I'll put them in that veggie box with the spinach. So now's a really good time to start planting all your cool season vegetables. See, just because summer's over or close to being over, it doesn't mean our gardening is over. There's so many things in the garden that love this cooler weather. Well, I'm in California, Zone 9B, so I'm sure it's different for everybody, but that's how it is for me. And if you notice that my voice sounds very hoarse, well, I don't like to discuss health problems, but I have COVID. Second time this year. I swear I want to quit my job and just stay home in my garden. So I'm very tempted to do that. I'm so much more relaxed in my garden. But look at my beautiful veggie boxes. Look at how colorful they are with the yellow and orange marigolds. Okay, and over here we have a dahlia. Dahlias do so much better for me in the shade. And a zinnia, more zinnias. Yeah, lots of changes since my last garden tour. I took out my pineapple sage. It was such a beast. So let me show you what I put in its place. I planted a yellow rose, and I'll put the variety up on top because my memory is so horrible. But this yellow rose is disease resistant and the flowers don't fade. And we have a Supertunia Vista bubblegum and a salvia. And look at my beautiful corn. I'm ready to harvest this soon, but I'm just gonna keep it on there for just a little bit longer. Marigolds. Yeah, so that's new. I took out the pineapple sage. So that's what I'm saying. If something doesn't work for you, just take it out. If it brings you stress and just take it out. Just keep your life simple and just relax. And it's okay if something doesn't work. That's how we learn. I had no idea that the pineapple sage grew more plants from its roots. Had I known that, I wouldn't have planted it. But I know that now, so it wasn't a mistake. It was a lesson. My zinnias didn't survive either. They should be thriving right now. They were all right here, but they got a ton of powdery mildew. They were so disgusting looking, so I just cut them off and saved the flowers and put them in a vase. And I planted vinca, plus it was on sale at Home Depot for only $4 each. And there's like 3 plants in each pot. So I figured I'll just replace it with something that I know will look beautiful and colorful. Now let me tell you something. Oh, this is my propagation station made up of 3 benches. A lot of people ask me also, how do I keep spider mites off my marigolds? Well, this is the very first year that I didn't get spider mites, and I will tell you what I did. I don't spray anything in my garden. My garden's all organic. Not that I think spraying is bad. It's just personally what I don't want to do. All I did was I sprayed them this year. I just gave them a shower every day on the hot days so the foliage could dry off. I always thought that when you got marigolds wet, that's why they got spider mites, but it's the opposite. So I just come out every day and spray them, and I haven't seen 1 spider mite. And this is my Natchez white crepe myrtle tree, and it's blooming again. It's so crazy because, like I said, crepe myrtle trees usually only put on 1 show, usually like in July. But I mean, this is September and it's blooming again. It's been doing this all summer long. Okay, let me show you over here. Actually, this would be the perfect way to enter my new water fountain garden. I just ordered the water fountain today off of Amazon. Oh, but look we have butterfly bush and my beautiful Gara and another sedum autumn joy. But right here is where my water fountain is gonna go. So the fountain I ordered for this area is a 2-tiered fountain, and I chose the color white. Now I love brown and copper and all those other colors too, but because we have such hard water here, I figured white wouldn't show the stains as much. And it's gonna be a solar fountain, so I don't have to worry about plugging this into any electrical outlet, being that this is way in the back corner of my garden, and I'm planning on putting the solar panel right up there on top of that brick wall. It'll get full sun all the time, so it'll always be running. So that's where it's gonna go. And that will be my new water fountain garden. And on my archway, I have some morning glory seeds that I planted, and they've already come up. I just figured morning glories would be so pretty. I know a lot of people think they're invasive, but that's okay. I think it'll look really, really pretty and whimsical. And over here, my clematis is blooming. It definitely loves this cooler weather as well. Isn't that just beautiful? Clematis love to grow up other plant structures, so it's just growing up that tree trunk. My dynamite red crepe myrtle tree. Okay, but here's a big change. Here's my succulent garden, and this is what I'm talking about when I say if something doesn't work, screw it, just rip it out and start over. This was filled with tender succulents. It completely got fried in the heat wave, so I took them all out. And instead I replaced it with some agave and cactus, because I know next year we're going to have another heat wave. Our environment is changing. So I'm expecting another heat wave next year, but this time I'll be ready, because what I did was I planted things in here that want that intense heat, that love to be dried out in between waters. And a lot of you suggested that I grow this desert rose stuff. I know I keep forgetting the name, but thank you so much. Look at how beautiful it is. It was like the best suggestion I ever got. I absolutely love it. So I'm hoping that kind of spills over. This is the backside view of my garden if I was standing where the water fountain is. And my beautiful passion flower vine, I just love how it grew up those cattle panels. And my fig tree, oh my goodness, the best figs I ever had. And over on this corner of my garden, you could see my petunias with more of the sweet potato vine. I'm standing underneath a Japanese maple tree right now. I actually have 2 Japanese maple trees in my garden. I don't really focus on trees that much. Maybe I should do that more. I guess sometimes we should look up, because hadn't I, you wouldn't have known that I have Mexican sunflowers. Those just grew from seed. And if you ever want to attract birds to your garden, may I suggest picking up a cheap little bird bath. I only paid $25 for this one, and I got a solar fountain. See, there's a cord, and it runs by a little solar panel. I got that on Amazon for like $10, and it was a complete game changer. Birds come to my garden every day. This hummingbird knows that I'm trying to film it, and it's trying to hide on the other side. What a cutie pie, huh? Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a beautiful day in your garden too.